Alright, everyone, welcome back to the Wrecker's Yard Doctor set. This is Cobj on the Killer from Team Pain, and we're already heading into the area where the survivors spawned, it seemed, and we have multiple survivor screams in the area instantly in chase. Onto Dub, they're instantly going to be dropping that pallet and taking chase, but I would not be surprised if this is a hit, because that was a very good shock by Cobj. But yeah, I'm here once again with Egder. How are you feeling about this matchup so far?
I did have those apples. I had one, but unfortunately the doctor's still here, so clearly it didn't work. I was lied to. We're gonna see a body block come in. Again, this is a big weakness. Number one, it's a big weakness of Doctor. Can't really do anything about body blocks. Situationally, can maybe stop unhook attempts with a shock from a distance, but like if someone comes in, take a hit, there's nothing that can be done, right? Otaku comes in, takes an early hit. Also, Otaku is the survivor with Metal of Man, so this does make a lot of sense that that would be the one sent to take that hit. Early pain resonance, likely going to hit this shack generator, which survivor's still going to commit to. And yeah, when all said and done, Cobj had a very quick first chase. A very quick first down, even despite, like, you expect your first chases against Doctor to go on for maybe like 140, 150. I think we maybe hit a minute, and that was with an Otaku body block as well.
They were tripling out this shack gen, by the way, and it didn't get popped. So that might spell a little bit rough for our survivors. That means they have very little or zero gen progress on the other generators. Lori winning the 50-50 there, good job by Junior. But yeah, that first chase, like you said, Doctor can't do too much about body blocks, but one perk that can is rapid brutality, and we do have that in our arsenal. I think Dub kind of tasted the unfortunate end of that one, and did not make the pallet because of it. I think Jake was the one with the body block hit, and I mean, we used the rapid brutality there to catch up quite quickly, so not too much progress by our survivors. A hit tank coming through that early is not really what you want to see in a Doctor set a lot of the time. But Dub has had some pretty good chases today, so we'll have to see what they do with their tunnel out chase. They did go into the second stage at 5 generators, Egder, by the way, so I mean, this is looking pretty good for Cobj so far.
I know this is a small point, but it's one that I find really interesting. With add-ons on Doctor, you always run Purple Discipline for the reduced detonation delay, so you can have them essentially instant. However, about 70% of the time we see the high stimulus electrode in the other add-on slot to get extra range. Cobj instead sacrifices the range instead to just get more detonation delay. So these shots are going to be instant, which I actually want to ask you if that's all right. Would that increase kind of your chase ability at the expense of the range of the shock, or like what's the idea with the double discipline?
There's a good reason that people run high stimulus electrode, right? That is a range add-on, like you said, and oh my gosh, I don't even think I have time to commentate that, because that was a first pass down. 2 hits in quick succession onto Fell, going down under the pallet, but Cobj wants our tunnel out. We want our Thalita. Lyra, she is going to be dropping the pallet instantly, just heading towards the 12-side edge, dying edge map. Fell does get healed up in the meantime. But that is a death at 5 gens, Egder. That is not good for our survivors. On a Doctor.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh, Cobj. I feel like I've just started this match. I feel like we just came back from break and there's a death already. Just excellent Doctor play. And Lori, there's Doctor in front of you. That is gonna be an M1 onto our Lori Strode. And they are heading towards the bottom side of the map. But we know from experience that there is a hill here and a TL. Not too much to work with except for a pallet. But is this a hit? Oh no, they got the fastball, a very good fastball. And the first gen popping. That's the shack gen, but I mean, not too much progress elsewhere. I'm sure we have a little bit here and there, but with that first gen being tripled, that means that the first gen popping is the shack, and I mean, I don't know. It's very good macro play by Cobj, and he gets a second down on this car pile as well.
Wow. Okay. Also, I would talk about the batteries included, and obviously its ability to stack haste with the rapid brutality, and the fact that it's going to snowball the more gens are done. But to be honest, there's barely any gens done. Cobblej is going to have a nice advantage if there's any chases that go to Shack. But I think this is a little bit of like a suffering from success moment where you're playing too well for the perk to get you value. You know what I mean? For quite a
Mhm.
while, we would see Save the Best for Last slotted in as Survivor to counter the whole idea of, well, the altruism, the fact that people can just tank hits and there's nothing that Doctor can do about it. But instead, that's recently been swapped out for batteries included all the time. Mostly because you can stack that with the rapid brutality. And, like, yeah, 10% haste on Doctor is kind of freaky. A 125 killer just hunting you down from the other side of the map. It is always going to be a scary prospect, especially on one that doesn't really rely on bloodlust, like something like a Trapper in, say, 1v1 sets. It's a bit of a no-brainer.
The fact that the Shakshan got popped first means that Kabje can keep just dipping in and out of the batteries included range. Look at the 5% haste that he has almost constantly, and it lingers a little bit after you leave that
Yep.
range. The Shakshan's so central to the Wrecker's Yard. Both survivors, by the way, were in tier 3 and had to snap out of it, so they got 0 gen progress in that time. Kabje doing a great job of putting them both in tier 3 without the range add-on, I might add, so just had to get up close and personal, and that's Fell
Another
going
hit
down.
there. Another hit there came through basically
Yeah,
because of batteries included.
yeah.
It's such a difficult. Also because when you're playing Survivor, of course, in the second in the second trial with today's rule sets, you'll know exactly what the other team's playing. But in this first trial, they don't, and so it's very hard to call out that batteries included is in play. And so, you know, when it's like, okay, well, what's the fourth perk? You're not really expecting that haste. You know, after any hit, it's like, okay, well, they have rapid brutality. Maybe I need to tone down the muscle memory of how much distance I can take after this M1. But the fact that at random points, the killer is just suddenly going to get, like, steroids injected into their veins and get that 5% speed buff, really hard to call out, and it really, when you play this game for so many hours, it really throws off your muscle memory. It throws off how many times you can make it around a tile.
I will say though, Junior's doing an excellent job in this chase, so much that Kabje actually has to leave to secure the 4K3 there. This generator here is being worked by an injured survivor, and I think that is that's Ace there. Yeah, Fell taking chase now in the area that Laurie Strode was previously. I think these survivors might have caught on to the batteries included and are avoiding Shack with their lives. By the way, just do not want that extra 5%. I mean, of course, this is also some very good looping spots, and oh my goodness, that stun was incredible, by the way. Fell got a very, very good stun onto Kabji. But yeah, like we're kind of seeing Doctor as he is without the haste, just a regular M1 killer with a little bit of a twist, I guess. But um, oh, there's a heal up coming through. Okay, the survivors might be bringing it back a little bit now.
They're definitely having a much better mid game than they are an early game, right? As we enter what will essentially be the late game now. Um, we're gonna say I think this is two injured survivors at this gen. Of course, not gonna be a kill onto either of them, but a hit comes through, and with a little bit of luck, you can get a pain resonance as well. You don't hate going for fresh hooks as Doctor either. You really don't. You're not a killer that's expected to 4K all that often. It's a nice bonus if you do, especially since you got that first kill. You know, like, you're not losing sleep over the fact that you can't find Laurie immediately. Especially because, I mean, you're going to static blast in a few seconds and then get, like, a pretty good idea. Actually, never mind. You have absolutely no idea where Laurie is, so forget about it completely. But at least now you know the general area of the map to look in. It's like, okay, they're not on the bottom side. Let's maybe look to top of Shack around the bus, and we find Fell, who's injured and not able to make this pallet. Now you have your tunnel out and an injured survivor on the bottom side of the map. You can cut them off, and Cobj must be salivating right now.
This is. I mean, we're slugging the fresh survivor, not choosing to go for a pain res hook. I think there is a pain res available on our Jake Park. Yeah, Cobj was not able to pain res them the first time. He's going to be getting it down through the pallet. Jake did not react fast enough to that double back.
There are no pain reses
Still
on this
no
side of the
pain
map, bro.
reses. They're all, yeah, they're all where we slugged Ace. I mean, still next to a high progress Shen, the hook positioning is not bad at all. And we know that generator deep 3 had a lot of progress. Well, as well, I say that as it as somebody misses a skill check. I think Lori is deep 3 there, and we see another survivor, Ace, taking chase around this truck. But this truck does not provide very much safety, especially with no exhaustion perks like balance landing or life. Um, Ace might be going down soon here with a good timed shock. Even without one, it seems. I think he's going to be lockering up just so that Lori can get the unhook, but this is another fresh stage, so this is already shaping up to be a very, very good Doctor result.
Yeah, that it is. We are going to see a third generator get popped, but that's going to be it basically. And you know that Lori is either stealthing towards Otaku for an unhook or like is getting it right. Maybe if you're a little clever here, you're hiding in a locker. If you're Lori, trying to avoid that static blast, but that's a very difficult call to make in the moment, right? You have eyes on Otaku. You know that Otaku is going to die, basically. Um, yeah, yeah, it's been confirmed now. So maybe you just go back to Fell, and you still have pretty good control of the generators, provided that yeah, you check the one by the fun bus, and now you know exactly where they are. No more generators are going to be completed, so it's going to be a 4K2 result for CopJ. Considering that the first kill came out of 5 gens, I'm glad that the survivors were at least able to complete 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a 4K2. I mean, still a very, very good result for CobJ if he manages to keep these gens, but 4K3 would have been a lot worse for the survivors. So
For
good
sure.
job for Lori to crank that gen out. We also know the generator by Jake's hook had a lot of progress. Fell actually managing to drop that in time despite the shock there. And this last chase might matter a lot if that last gen pops or not. He doesn't have to survive too long, but there's no pallet here. And he will be going down. I think that will not be a Painterez. Our only Painterez is on a dead survivor, Otaku, but he will be going on the hook regardless. And Lori, I think she might be on that generator. I can't imagine where else she would be unless she was just hovering for an instant unhook, but Cubj seems to think the same. Maybe trying to sniff her out at the steep 9 area. Or maybe she got into a locker. It's hard to say, but not to single anyone out, but Lori has been playing very well this game. I think, and she's she's not getting found quite yet, but
So I just
uh,
like how you're like not to single anyone out. It's like, oh, bro's gonna flame someone, and then you actually just like call out in a good way. Like, yeah, you played really, really well, champ. It's like, oh, okay, that was very nice, but very unexpected. Um, but yeah, like there's not much to be said. You can't safely work any of these gens. You can't safely get the unhook. You can't safely do anything, to be honest. Hmm, I'm trying to think of something clever to say about what Laurie could do right now, what Junior could get up to. The answer is nothing, especially because like, it's not even like Hatch gets you anything if all generators haven't been completed. So you're just waiting out the clock right now.
yeah. Yeah, Hatch is not going to get you anything. The only thing that will really matter is another gen popping. And I think the only gen that had any progress, like I said, was that generator. Is she trying to stick that gen, maybe? There is a crow flying up over here. I wonder if that means that she is in this area, and yes, it is. She tried to get into a locker to avoid the shock, but will be taking chase now. Deep 9, that's a tree, unfortunately runs into the tree there, and will be getting the medium vault as a result of that shock. And this will be the last chase of the game. 4K2 though, very impressive result by Kobje. He knows his stuff on the Doctor. I can see why Payne picked it, for sure. But yeah, we're getting a Mori to end off the game and gonna be heading into the Sirenia killer. Payne on the Survivor in the next match, so stick with us again. Seeing some Ethel perspective to start out, but this is a 4K2 Tycon, which is a little bit difficult, like we've said. Getting a 4K3 as a win even more difficult, of course. I think the easiest result here to try to get would be a tie. Uh, but yeah, we'll have to see on that one. I think Baz taking chase now. We can hear him screaming in the distance, and Ethel instantly on the shack generator. I'm a bit surprised actually that they're choosing to crank out the shack gen because batteries included is waiting in the wings to pounce, I guess. But yeah, we'll have to see about that
I
one.
think knowing your win con, you're fine to basically just split on gens. I think seeing what I could see, I think Cobjay's been sent to maybe take a hit. Cobjay is actively working on a generator. Baz slowly getting caught up, slowly but surely. But actually, just a miss from Otaku, who's going to be taking the reins of Killer today on the Doctor set. And that feels like a bit of a fumble. He should have been a bit more patient to get that hit, or at least some more distance over to the pallet. Instead, Baz able to somehow miraculously escape the very corner of the map and make it over to another, like, pretty decent filler. So honestly, Baz is doing a really, really good job. This is a fantastic first chase, even if it's going to end eventually, because that's kind of how it works against Doctor. It's not a case of will you go down and chase, it's a case of when you go down and chase. But barring an unfortunately timed pain resonance, because there are in fact pain reses on this side of the map this time, gen progress should be pretty good. At least one generator should be popping for that chase.
Hmm.
Emphasis on should, not necessarily will.
Yeah, we heard Ethel scream. We know that they were the one on the shack generator, but this hill gen does pop instead. Dwight taking chase now does a very good shock by Otaku to block him from dropping that pallet gem there, and Baz does get unhooked in the meantime. We have batteries included on this chase. Given that that gem at the hill did pop, of course, and the shack gen still has a lot of progress. I would not be surprised if it pops soon. Baz getting healed up by a teammate, and Torselman going down. Some very, very good shocks by Otaku overall to get that down there. A second pain res most likely coming through, but there's one pretty far away, but he opts for an instant hook and not a pain res, so that shack gen will be popping. We're one gen away from the Tycon egg there, so I mean we have to get a tunnel out, which is so hard on the Doctor, but we
Yeah,
have to get a win here, right?
I was gonna say I'm really interested that that there wasn't really an attempt to tunnel out Baz and get onto Torso Man. In most scenarios, I don't hate going for fresh stages on a character where 4Ks are difficult or rare to get. It's generally better that way, just for scoring purposes. But when you have the 4K condition to deal with and you don't immediately go for the 4K, and like now you're chasing Cobj, and it's like, okay, that's fantastic. I'm glad for the ability to 12 hook maybe, but in the meantime, Ethel, Torselman, and Baz are just going to be resetting. Whoever healed up Torselman, either Ethel or Baz, the other one is just going to be working on a generator in the meantime. There's nothing that can really be done about that. It's a really rough spot for Otaku to be in, I'll put it like that. But I don't feel like this is quite the correct macro when you have a win condition of the 4K to play around.
3 survivors in the tier 3 now. Cobj having been dropped after a very good chase on a Z-wall, I gotta add. Expertly playing the Z-wall to make it back to the pallet, and we do see Ethel taking shifts now. Yet another fresh stage, but she does get blocked from dropping that edge 3 pallet. Oh my goodness, this other edge pallet is gonna be our safety here, and we do survive a few more seconds, actually, given that that vault came through successfully. And yeah, these edge map pallets, the new records yard, just so many more pallets for the Doctor to have to play around. Poor Doctor, man. This is kind of what I expected more from a Doctor set. And yeah, Ethel will be going down now. Some rapid brutality and batteries value coming through to get that down there, but that is the Tycon Egg, and oh, trying to get a pallet save as well. Cubj did get healed up and immediately headed in to try to get a pallet save for his teammate.
Don't hold me back. I'm going to
Yeah. Heal quick, heal quick. I have to run in. And the shack pallet got dropped earlier by Cubj. We are gonna be kicking it now, and maybe just trying to proxy the hook a little bit, but if there's any progress on a generator, Otaku cannot commit to this chase for long given the win condition.
Yeah, will continue running. Has the pallet gym to work with. Cobj here to take the body block, so there's not going to be any problems there. Otaku quite literally does not care about Cobj. He's like, please just get out of my way, bro. Let me have this onto Ethel. And it makes a lot of sense, but now Ethel is able to get over to the bus. The most fantastic setup, but again, who needs a fantastic setup when you have players and other survivors who are willing to trade hits for you? In the meantime, Torsel and Cobj still healthy. One of them could come and take a hit, but realistically, they're just trying to crank out some generators, and yeah, we okay, we're doing some rebuilding here if we're Baz, using the enemies necessary to reset this loop, get yourself back over to it. Which I think this was the first loop that Baz went down on. Oh no, and the firecracker, and we're cyberbullying. Okay, well look, I didn't want to make a report to behavior about this, but it might need to be done. We cannot have this level of cyberbullying in our matches. Poor doctor, poor doctor.
Seems to happen every doctor set, to be honest, except for the ones that go a little bit badly because of an unfortunate chase. And this is going to be a hit through a window. Cobj taking that hit. Cobj does mark a fresh stage, so I mean, if we are playing for the best result, probably best to go for Cobj, but the win condition has already been met by our survivors. There's an edge map palette over here once again. These edge map palettes kind of proven to be a little bit nasty against Doctor, who, yes, this is a very weak palette, but given how chainable it is, I mean, not the worst, and that will be a down edge map, but the survivors are healing up in the meantime. We are going to be getting a pain res. Finally, we've only seen one pain res come through so far. This will be the second. And yeah, just some overall value from all of our perks just coming through. Batteries, rapid, and great body blocks from our survivors to prevent the value from really mattering too much. We do see, I think this is Ethel. Yeah, Ethel taking chase now. And doing a great job of vaulting that window, but Otaku actually predicting that there and heading straight for this filler palette.
Yeah, absolutely. Ethel doing a pretty good job here. We are, I mean, we're in the 4v1. No one's dead on hook, and I mean, Ethel could be soon, but again, so plenty of resources to play around. You can see with the Windows opportunity, just like, yeah, I got a lot of things to work with. I'm not feeling too bad. Kopje has to snap out of it, but that's okay because Baz is able to take control of the generator. We actually slow vault there. Interesting kind of maneuver. But again, it's all for naught. And Torchman is already on the exit gate. Interested to see whether survivors try and go for a save anyway, or whether they just cut their losses and get their outs. Again, practice makes perfect. And, you know, why not continue to practice getting saves in a situation like this? Because remember, you know, sometimes, right now you're fine, but maybe you're in an official one day, and you are in this exact spot, you need to get every stage out. Unfortunately, it's not like Doctor was really, like, camping at all, so it's actually a pretty free unhook onto Ethel.
Yeah, this is very clear to me that these survivors are very comfortable on this set. Cubj, kind of the golden goose, I guess you'd say now, because they are injured. They are worth the most stages, but our teammates doing a great job of body blocking for him to get them out of that exit gate. Everyone injured now, taking those body blocks just to get them out the door. Maybe body block.